Grace and peace, everybody. The Lord bless you all. Grace and peace, TikTok. Grace and peace, grace and peace. Come on in, everybody. Hit the share button. It's a pop up. I got a few minutes and we are going to have a good conversation. Everybody, hit the share button. The Lord bless you. If you're coming in on YouTube, do me a favor and press the subscribe button. Turn your bell notifications on. Everybody do that right now. If you're on TikTok, do me a favor. Hit the follow button and then start tapping on that screen. Grace and peace, everybody. Prophetess Quenisha, the Lord bless you. Ashante, Triana, Ashley, Charlotte, bless you. Erica, Tamika, Lolita, Michelle, Kelsey, Eloisa, bless you. Grace and peace, Shabbat Shalom. Grace and peace, Evelyn, Ann, good to see you. Miss Burris, the Lord bless you. Everybody, come on in. Let me know where you're watching from. Philadelphia, bless you. Apostle Carlos, bless you, everybody. Let me know where you are watching from. First time on live, Kansas City, come through. I literally just finished your divorce and remarriage video. Good. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, all my Chicago saints, I'm looking to see y'all tonight. We have Connect Night tonight. If you're in Chicago and you're a part of Reformation Culture Church Chicago, even if you're not a part of the church, you're just in Chicago, maybe you've been watching and you want to come through, come tonight for Connect Night. We will be at the Lou Malnati's at Midway Airport. All right. Lou Malnati at Midway Airport. That is, let me tell y'all the address. The address is 6456 South Cicero Avenue. So y'all come through, come fellowship. Connect Night is just for connection. It's not church. It's just for connection. Watch it from the UK, Oklahoma, Bowie, Maryland, Florida, South Africa. Hello, Bishop will be in Chicago this evening. So Tempest, we won't have service tonight, but we are having Connect Night, which is just where our church connects and builds connection amongst the members. Marshall, Minnesota, Cleveland, Ohio, Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina. Bless you, Germany. Montgomery, Alabama, Fort Lauderdale, Houston. I'm looking to see if you have not come to Reformation Culture Church Houston yet, you need to come and see us tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock a.m. No matter where you see me at the day before, I'm going to be where I'm supposed to be the day after. I dreamed that you opened a large church in Atlanta. Isn't that something? My God. Grace and peace, everybody. Let me know where you're watching from. South Africa, Bahamas, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Italy, Alabama, Bahamas, Virginia, Pennsylvania, RCC, Houston. Bless you all. Lansing, Michigan. We have had a powerful time all this week. God has been meeting us. On Thursday night, I was in some part of South Carolina. On Friday, I was in Little Rock, Arkansas. This morning, I was in Little Rock, Arkansas. And now I'm here in Chicago. Chicago, 6 o'clock p.m., Connect Night. It's not a church service. Connect Night is just our time of fellowship. I was so blessed to see so many of my Prophets Arise family in South Carolina. People drove from Atlanta and drove from Alabama 3 and 4 and 5 hours to be there with us. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And then again, yesterday, it's my looking up and seeing some of my Reformation Culture Church family there and Prophets Arise. It is phenomenal what the Lord is building. If you missed our pop-up the other night, on responsible dating, how many of you all saw part one of the responsible dating pop-up the other night? How many of y'all saw it? Y'all know I normally don't come on this time of day. Our numbers are a little low. We got to get us a daytime church, Ashante. Yes. If you didn't watch that, then you want to go and watch that. It's available on my YouTube channel. Those of you that are watching on TikTok, every time I go live on TikTok, you'll be able to find the replay on YouTube also. All right. You'll be able to find the replay on YouTube also. I was having a conversation with someone on yesterday, and I said I was going to come on and do this. I was actually planning to do it last night, but it just wasn't happening last night. Last night, after I got out, I had a few things to take care of, and then had to hit the bed so I can rise early this morning to get this day going. Everybody hit that thumbs up button for me. Today we are talking about 10 signs that they will make a safe partner. Prophets and prophetic people in particular. Prophets and prophetic people in particular. It is so important that we become more skilled at mitigating the potential negative impact of poor relational choices. Hey, Richard, we're going to send you over to the block list, to the TikTok abominable abyss, never to return, that she can't control your impulses. So we are talking about it. I was also talking with someone, and I said I think I'm going to do a live about that too. We'll see. We will see if I do it about this whole concept of purpose partners. I don't know. We'll see if we get into that some. One of the things that I said the other night that I want to kind of begin with tonight is the importance of understanding the importance of understanding your core values in terms of being better at partner selection, and praying about moving to Houston. Well, pray and do whatever the Lord tells you. Your core values. How many of y'all know your core values and can communicate your core values? How many of y'all know your core values and can communicate your core values? This shot right here, I look like I'm sitting up against some prison wall or something. The prison walls, but wherever. How many of you know your core values? How many of you can communicate what your core values are? Second, how many of you know your core needs and can communicate your core needs? Because your non-negotiables need to be built on and with and around an understanding of those two things, core values and core needs. There are areas of flexibility that everybody should have, but your core values and your core needs should not be and are not areas of flexibility. And maybe we'll do a live some other time about those areas of flexibility, what you should be willing to flex about. You should not be rigid about everything. You should not be rigid about everything. Rigidity is often the evidence of some unresolved relational trauma. Dr. Hargrove, extreme rigidity. If everything is a non-negotiable for you, but that's another conversation for another day. So we're talking today about 10 signs that they'll make a safe romantic partner. The first sign I want to give you is consistency. Consistency over intensity. That they are intentional about building trust, building predictability, building a measure of interdependability. Trust is about, this is out of the Gottman method. Trust is built in small moments, small deposits over a course of time. So the more a person shows up as reliable over time, right? They're not spiking with grand gestures and then they disappear. They don't go from some huge show of interest and huge show of affection to now they're hard as bricks. They are consistent. Type this: trust grows from consistency, not intensity. And whenever you begin to extend trust in response to intensity, you are already setting yourself up to have your trust broken. It should be, I don't necessarily want to call it a red flag, but at least a good pink one. People who have these extreme, expressions, they go from one extreme over to the other. Wait a minute, slow your roll, calm down, be calm, be calm. Trust grows from consistency. Are you a person that a person can set their hat on for specific things? That they know, I got to call, let me make myself a note. That they know that they can expect you to do this way every time. This whole idea of living in permanent spontaneity, you cannot build a healthy long-term relationship when every dynamic is built on spontaneity, uncertainty. Your nervous system is kept in a state of confusion and kept in a state of anxiety, not knowing what to expect. And that's in any environment that you are in, a romantic relationship, family, business, church. Consistency is what builds safety. Right? I know how this person is going to show up. I know this person's values. And so based on their values, I can predict to some degree how they're going to respond, how they're going to react to a thing. Be very leery of people who don't want you to be able to track them in any measure. Now, I'm not talking about you being some stalker and you needing to know every move they make and everything they do. And, internet has turned some of y'all into little part-time stalkers. You need to, it's a little scary. Right? It is important that you are a type of a person that somebody can have expectations for. One of the things that's a sign that a person will not be safe is when they have the audacity to tell you, don't have expectations for me. They just told you what to expect from them. They just told you to expect them to not be dependable. The minute somebody tells you not to have expectations for them, give them the expectation to no longer have access to you. At least not in that way. Like, just vibe, just chill. You know, place no expectation. Expectations produces pressure. Told y'all the other night. That's right. It sure does. Pressure. Apply it or move. So number one, consistency over intensity. Number two, a commitment to co-regulation. Both, let me add that, both self-regulation and co-regulation. In a healthy person and in healthy relationships, partners manage their stress without making the other person the target or making the other person pay the price for what you're experiencing inside. And so a safe person will not lash out at you because they're going through. A safe person will not stonewall you and shut down and disappear. I remember I was talking to this one woman. Now, just FYI, y'all, a lot of my story times are about the same few people, all right? A lot of them are about the same few different women. I was talking to this woman, and every time she would go through, she would shut down and disappear and can't respond. Lakita, where you been? Lakita, where have you been? Come on out of here. She would shut down and not communicate. Days would go by and then would pop back up like nothing happened. Ma'am, who is not going to participate in the delusion that you didn't just disappear is me. You know what I may do, because I don't want y'all to be out here thinking, see, some of y'all getting ready to start creating a narrative. Bishop just be talking to a bunch of folks. No, I'm too busy for that. I think I'm gonna have to give each of these story time persons a number so that when I'm telling the story, I can refer back to the number and y'all are clear. This is one of the same people from the number, all right? Get clear now. Get clear. Oh, Jesus. So yeah, she would pop back up and, well, because it'd be less than in 5 years. In 5 years, I have been in in one relationship and have talked to 4, all right, women in 5 years. I think I'm doing all right. I think I'm doing pretty good. So don't y'all come over here putting that on me. Not me. Now back to my story time. Now that is clear. I was y'all making me lose my train of thought. I had to make sure, I don't tell no lies now. I don't tell no lies. I had to make sure. So she would pop back up like nothing had happened. And I'm a communicator. I'm a communicator. And so I would say, hey, how are you? Great. Your mom okay? Dad okay? Everybody's alive? Okay. Rapture? Okay. No? All right. So I kind of noticed that you disappeared. And she said, well, yeah, we are going through stuff. I like to, I go within and I go here to here to here to here. I said, okay, well, listen, I don't work like that. Because what you need to assess is that when you are developing a relationship with a person, will they be there for you in your time of stress? And will they allow themselves to need you in their time of stress? Because there is no more helpless of a feeling to have in a relationship than you are inconsequential. You're not needed. And again, when we're talking about needing someone, we're not saying you're weak and you are inadequate in and of yourself. It's I'm allowing you to provide that need for me. In my world, I got a lot that, I'm responsible for, a lot that's in my hand. And so I have to depend on people for different things. Not that I cannot do it myself. I allow myself to need them in that way and in that area. So the need is, again, not about destitution. The need is not about self-insufficiency. The need is about a choice to need you. And if you want somebody to feel valuable in your world, then you are going to have to allow yourself to need them. And I don't care about romantic relationships today, but I don't care what relationship and relational dynamic it is. You are going to have to allow yourself to need them. Hey, Christian, you got to really get you some friends so that you can stop trolling through strangers' Facebook videos, looking for attention in the comments, making crazy comments. You got to really get you some friends. I've got some colleagues that I can recommend to you that can probably provide some therapy for you so you can work out some of those deeper issues that you're projecting on the people in the comments. But in the meantime, go enjoy the block list. Be blessed. So, co-regulation. Co-regulation. I can manage my stress, which I'm laughing at on TikTok. I can manage my stress, and I'm not going to put it all on you either. I don't turn away. I turn in. And even where, if you are a person who is an internal processor, if you're a person who the first step for you in processing is you go within, that's not a problem. There are external processors and then there are internal processors. Neither one is good or bad. The difference is not in the kind, it's in the degree. How much turning in do you do? Or how much turning out do you do? If you do too much externalizing, you will become a burden, an emotional burden. If you do too much internalizing, you will become a source and force of isolation, rejection. So if you are the person who is an internal processor and you are building relationship with somebody, you still have to communicate to them, hey, I need a moment to process this. And then we can talk through this right here. Because when your person or a person that you're building relationship with asks you, hey, are you good? And you say to them, I'm fine, or nothing's wrong. And they can clearly identify that something is. What you are doing is contributing to the dysregulation of the relational attunement in the relationship. So now they begin to lose the ability to accurately read where you are. You begin to undermine the calibration. You are decalibrating the relational attunement. Right? But maybe you're an internal processor and you're just not ready to talk about it. So as opposed to messing up the calibration, you say, yeah, there is something I'm feeling, dealing with, happening, whatever. I need to process this first, and then we can talk about it. Can we talk about it on tomorrow afternoon? See, this is how emotionally aware and mature people move through relationship. I'm not going to leave you wondering. I'm also not going to deny my need for internal processing. I can do both. It's not either or, it's both and. Yes, I need to process, and I need to allow you to support me in processing. So I still have to communicate, or else I'm going to cause there to be unnecessary dysregulation. A safe partner is not going to lash out to create space. They're not going to go off on you to make you back up. They're not going to stonewall you and ignore you and leave you the days in a state of uncertainty and confusion. They're going to, if they have to turn within, they're going to turn within, and then they're going to turn towards. One of the signs of a healthy relationship is the willingness to turn towards each other with calm and self-control and a mutual commitment to presence, being present and available. Everybody hit that share button. And if you are not ready, and here's where you got to be grown and mature and responsible. If you are not ready to let somebody support you in an area that perhaps before you have had no support in, so you don't know how to be supported, if you're not ready to allow it, to give permission to it, you're not ready for a relationship yet. Just because you want one doesn't mean you're ready for one. You are going to do that person damage and harm trying to take care of you. Here's a question to ask yourself. This is going to be a difficult question for some of you that are hyper independent people. Am I ready to let myself depend on somebody else? Am I ready to let myself depend on some? So as long as you still moving through life with this, as long as I got King Jesus, don't need nobody. Okay, well then stop playing with somebody else. Then you don't need them. That's gonna be your mentality. As long as you got King Jesus, well, you go stay with Jesus. What kind of depend? Healthy depend. If you don't need nobody but King Jesus, then you tell the Lord, shut down all your hormones. Tell the Lord to shut down all of your neurological wiring that is wired for companionship. Tell the Lord to shut down all of your bodily functions and organs so that you and Jesus can be together. I ain't trying to be with Jesus for that. Glory to God. I had somebody come in my comments the other day. And listen, when I'm doing these talkings, or when I posted the other day a picture of my dog, I was sitting in the pulpit, literally, in South Carolina. I opened up my iPad to open my Bible up. And when I opened the iPad, I don't know why it jumped out to me so much this time that my dog was my screensaver. My dog was my screensaver. I said, Lord, look at how single you are. Your dog. It's your screensaver. So I posted it on Facebook, and then I get all the folk in the comments who think that Bishop is somewhere having it all. Oh, it's okay. You're married to Jesus. I'm not married to Jesus. Number one, that's a man. Number two, that man got a wife. Number three, I ain't no adulterer and he ain't one. I'm not. But if you don't want to let yourself depend on somebody, stay by yourself. And that's in whatever case, whether we're talking about romantic relationships, whether we are talking about close friendships. Yeah, Jesus is married to the church. Is the bride of Christ. Yes. Come on. If you are not ready to let yourself depend on them, stay by yourself. The word depends, folks asking what depend in what way? It means to rely on. Like, for instance, let me just give you a small, very, I do a lot of talking, I do a lot of teaching, I do a lot of speaking, so my voice and my vocal cord health is important. Because if I lose my voice, I can't do a lot of things that I need to be able to do. So I depend on certain members of my pastoral support team to ensure that I have hot tea and honey. I got 1,000,001 other things going on. It would be better for me not to have to think about when I walk into a space, is there going to be tea and honey? Because this is pretty important. So I depend on them. I have administrative assistants. Right? I try to meet with, when I plant a church, I try to meet with the first 200 members one-on-one by way of Zoom when they join. So I depend on my scheduling assistants to make sure that those members are getting to meet with me. I'm getting to meet with them. And if I have them there, but I'm still doing the scheduling, because then there'll be people who try to go around them, come directly to me. And I say, hey, after we're going to make it happen, go talk to sister such and such. Go talk to sister such and such. If I have them there and I don't allow them to do what they are there to do, it undermines their sense of value, not because I can't do it myself, because they're there for a reason. These people, if you are trying to build relationships, Kimmy Murphy said, you did not meet with me. Were you in the first 200 members? And if not, if you want to meet with me, did you reach out to, where are you at? Where are you located? Are you in Chicago? You in Houston? You in the E-Church? Did you reach out to my assistant about meeting with me? Because if so, I meet with everybody who reaches out. So don't do that, Kimmy. Don't do it, Kimmy. Don't do it. You got to let yourself need somebody. Kimmy, you're in Chicago. Did you speak with Taylor? Speak with Taylor. Taylor's always right on top of it. She makes sure that I meet with those who join. Again, in those first 200, just reach out to Taylor, Kimmy. I'm gonna tell her, Taylor, if you are on here right now, Kimmy says she's trying to meet with me, and you didn't make it happen. Come on, Taylor, don't be making me look bad, Taylor. And Kimmy, don't be trying to make Taylor look bad, because Taylor be on her job. She be on. All right. Number 3, respect for boundaries. We're talking about 10 signs that I'm in Houston. Who do I meet with? In Houston, we're moving to new members reception. So this coming Sunday is our new member reception. If you're in Houston, you're a new member. We got new members reception right after church. You need to speak with Sister Trista. If you need a one-on-one with me, you need to speak with Alana. Respect for boundaries. In a healthy and safe person, they respect boundaries. They value boundaries. They respect limits. And that is to show that they are willing to both protect your sense of self and the relationship, not just themselves. And the boundary could not just be here's what's between me and you. The boundary could be, for instance, perhaps you're a person, you expect the person you're considering to talk to you. And that's a major thing, right? To talk to you once a day. And you let them know, they went 3 days and didn't say nothing to you. And when they check back in, you say, hey, I understand stuff happens, but 3 days, that's not okay with me. Well, that's a boundary that you set. And then you want to look to see, does this person respect boundaries that have been set? Or are they constantly giving themselves permission to violate and ignore and disregard boundaries? And it could be just a measure of incompatibility. Prophetess Lisa, it could be a measure of incompatibility. Boundaries for everyone, absolutely. It could simply be what you need, they're not able to provide. And you got to stop trying to get a person to source a relational need that may be outside of their relational budget. Maybe your needs are outside of their budget. You are only as needy as your needs. Now, it is possible, you may need to put some attention on healing some of the places that needs are coming out of. but you are only as needy as your needs. And if they can't source what you need, except I'm outside of their budget. I told y'all this in 5 years, talk to 4, relationship with 1, never tangling either. And see, y'all that be doing all this multi-dating stuff, I don't believe in multi-dating. I know that's the popular thing to do, but that multi-dating, that's practice cheating. But that's just me. There ain't no Bible for that. That's just me talking. That's me talking, all right? I'm going to say like Paul, I speak by permission. Lakeisha, number 1. Number 1 is named Dr. Jekyllette. Y'all remember Dr. Jekyllette? Y'all remember Dr. Jekyllette? And Dr. Jekyllette, here is why. Let me kind of step back and bring y'all in. This is why, again, you got to be checking in with yourself, the differences between how I feel versus how a person makes me feel. You also got to be checking in with yourself to ensure that you are not building a relationship with your idea about a person so that you're ignoring the reality of that person. So the idea of Dr. Jekyllette was a psychologist. Dr. Jekyllette was a pastor's daughter. Dr. Jekyllette had her own brand and platform and yada, yada, yada. Dr. Jekyllette had her own TV show. Dr. Jekyllette had all of this. And Dr. Jekyllette was used to being given certain passes in relationships because of all of those things. She was pretty, she was this, she was that, she was this. Well, I don't care within the context of a relationship, I mean. I care about, whatever you've done. I appreciate that. But in the context of a relationship, I don't care about none of that. Be fine as you want to be and educated as you want to be. How are you showing up in this? And so Dr. Jekyllette on the screen in the public image was very communicative, was very articulate, was educated. Again, pastor's daughter, all of this. But the real her was none of that. And so when I began to recognize a pattern, I said, all right, hey, listen, let's have a conversation. Well, I really don't have the capacity to have a conversation. Okay, when will you? When will you? Well, I really don't know. Okay, well, you're going to have to figure that out because we have conversations around here. You'll have to figure that out because I don't suppress, I don't participate in that. Right? You maybe you used to relationships with little boys who are unable to communicate and express. We're grown over here. So then she'd come and she'd have a conversation, right? But then the cycle, the pattern would persist. And so when I began to notice, okay, this is not situational. This is a pervasive pattern. This is pervasive. And then when the Lord began to take me into some stuff, I said, listen, because she said to me one time, she said, it's too much pressure to have these conversations. Okay. I want to honor that. I want to honor the way it feels to you to have a conversation. And I'm going to honor the need for healthy conversations. I know clinically and from experience what it takes to steward a healthy relationship. So it's clear to me that I am outside of your relational budget. It's clear to me what it costs to be in communication with me is outside of your budget. I don't want to shame your budget. And I'm also not going to shame the cost for relationship with me. So we are at an impasse. Are you catching this? A boundary was set. Boundary was consistently not being honored. Here becomes the danger, people, when you begin to allow yourself to become complicit with repeated patterns of boundary violation. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And whenever you find yourself doing that, whenever you find yourself consistently and continually allowing the same boundary to be crossed over and over and over again, it is a sign to you that you are really having a relationship with an idea, so that every time the reality contradicts the idea, you reject the reality because, no, they're a good person. No, they're this. No, they're that. I know he can be what I want him to be. No, I know she can be what I want her to be. You just don't know him like I know him. You just don't know it like I know it. I believe in her. And you begin to develop a relationship with potential that is a hypothetical that does not even exist in reality. And you got to master when you see that you are outside of somebody's budget and you know that your cost is a healthy cost. You're not overpriced, because you can be overpriced too, but that's a different conversation. You're not overpriced and they're just not able or willing to pay it. So long, bye-bye. So long, bye-bye. Goodbye to my pain and my sorrow. So long, bye-bye. Bless you and your ministry. Bless your heart and all your parts. Go with God. Number four. We're talking about 10 signs of a safe partner. Number 4, honest and transparent. Honest and transparent. Deception is one of the precursors to relational breakdown. Why? Because the scaffolding of that relationship doesn't even exist if it's been built in or on deception, which is why you need to do the very vulnerable work to put yourself forward immediately. Here's what my values are, and I'm not pretending like they're not my values. Here's what my needs are, and I'm not pretending like they're not my needs just because I want to get you. Because then we begin to build scaffolding to create, to erect a relational house, and the scaffolding doesn't really exist. Safe partners build trust by telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Transparency is what causes trust to stay intact. I think I'm talking better than y'all are tapping. Hold on, y'all. I got to see how far. Somebody said men struggle with transparency. Well, I'm not going to just put on the men. I've met some deceptive women. And perhaps it's because women have been deceived by so many men so many different times, and some women have mastered it. Let me tell you something. Transparency is a superpower. Transparency is a superpower. This is number 4. Transparency is a superpower. I don't have nothing to hide. And when you have fully accepted you, when you are fully at one within yourself, transparency does not frighten you. Mark Quince. Now, again, we are talking now about transparency needs to happen along a spectrum too. Don't come on date number 1 and you pour out the last 15 years of your life. Okay, because that oversharing, that's a trauma response too. You're trying to see if you can scare them off on day number 1, right? Because you have before waited, and because that other person departed from you. Now you say, I'm gonna get this all out in day number 1. I remember I told y'all, now this is person number 3. All right, this was person number 3. I told y'all about went on this first date, saints. It was a first date. And I don't drink at all, never have. And we went on this date, and she asked did I mind if she had something to drink. I said, it's your taste buds. It's your liver. Yeah. Because I'm just gathering data at this point. I want you to do what you want to do, so I know what you want to do. And so she gets a margarita. And we're at a, what do you call it, karaoke place. Right? Gets a margarita. Okay. She gets another one. Amen. She gets another one. All right. So now I'm assessing several things, and this is going to bring us down into one of our other points. I'm assessing several things in this space because I'm also assessing your value for my public image. I'm assessing your mindfulness of who I am. So my eyelids start getting a little lower. Now, I already noticed when she first came, I didn't want to look too deeply into her eyes because I didn't want her to think, that I was drawing nigh. But I looked and I already saw the pupils were a little challenged. So we go from that place to another place. She gets another something to drink. I'm like, all right now. And then she go to Linda, listen. So I'm like, all right, come on, let me help you. Because at this point, she is lit. She is gone. So she's like, come on, just follow me. I said, you're not driving? Give me the keys to that car. So I said, okay, come on. Again, this is the first date now. I said, all right, I'm going to drive you home. I will Uber back to my car. You cannot drive. So drive her home. And she can't walk up the steps now. She's that lit, really. Blasted, gone. So I walk her up the steps to her apartment, open the door, sit on her couch. I look over and I see an ashtray. And in that ashtray was a little butt of weed. So I said, all right. She said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to get my car. I'm going to my hotel. No, just, lady, ma'am, sit yourself down. I go get my car, go to my hotel. Next morning, somebody said, where you find it? Church, she's saved. The next morning, we had brunch already scheduled before I go home. So I have already, of course, determined not going to work, not going to work for several reasons. Amazing. Now, let me say, she was an amazing person, kind, one of the nicest, most genuine, gentle spirits I have ever met in my life. Kind. So we go to breakfast, and she says, I'm talking about the oversharing, trauma stuff. She says, well, if you can handle all of that on a first date and you're still here, we're going to be all right. You thought. You thought. I said, all right. I think you're amazing. You are you are one of the really set the standard in terms of like feminine energy. Phenomenal. But now I'm going to turn into a counselor. I want us to get into what is happening in your life that you need so much of those tools to escape it. Let's talk. And she was like, well, just give me one more chance. Oh, no, ma'am. Mm-mm, mm-mm. He's the God of a second chance. I ain't God. Huh? Let me tell y'all something. Lesson. Everybody type lesson in the chat. Lesson, lesson, lesson. Here's the lesson. Lesson, Linda. Lesson. Here's the lesson. You marry for better or for worse. You date for better. You marry for better or for worse. You date for better. Now, let me address all of these deep and wonderful people that's in my chat. Why are y'all on here today? You know, I'm trying to have and y'all want me to rebuke you. You do. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and provide for you, such as I have, give out unto thee. Now, go back up here. Go back up here. Couldn't this encounter have been avoided through determination, discernment, not to entertain anyone who is not your spouse? Hey, Letitia, did you wake up married? Are you married? Did you wake up married? Y'all be deep for nothing, about nothing. Are you okay? Did that make you feel powerful? Cut it out. Stop it. All right. Number 5. Attentive. They are attentive to your needs. They are attentive to your needs. Everybody type this. I am only as needy as my needs. I am only as needy as my needs. Let me tell you prophetic people something. Don't let these people who doing this stuff, like what she just said, many people think like that. Being prophetic does not make you omniscient. And if you think it does, you have an exaggerated sense of self. You struggle with self-aggrandizement. You suffer from delusions of grandeur. You're arrogant. If you believe having the Holy Ghost, having discernment, being a prophet makes you omniscient, I can guarantee we can look into your life and see that you are not omniscient. Attunement. Do they notice what you need? Do they notice your area of insensitivity, or rather sensitivity and insecurity? And they make intentional effort to strengthen you in that area. They make intentional effort to secure you in that area. Now, you also need to be doing your own work now. But are they attentive to your needs? Do they respond? Do they value your needs? Because a safe partner will not dismiss your needs. They will make room for them. A safe partner will not make you feel bad about needing what you need. they will make room for them. You should, one of the signs that a person is safe, and this is not on my list of them, I'm just giving this to you. One of the signs that a person is safe or has made you feel safe is your willingness to share and to show your needs. But until you get comfortable with needing what you need, you will feel like you need to show up as all sufficient, needing, I don't need anything. Some of you, especially women, culture has glorified this idea of what it means to be a strong woman as being all self-sufficient, needing nobody for nothing. Give yourself permission to need whatever you need. Talking about healthy needs now. Talking about healthy needs. Healthy, if I type the healthy ones. Free yourself. Every one of you on here. TikTok, there's 193 of you on, 328 across YouTube and Facebook. All of you have needs. Me too. Everyone. And any person that can't make room for your needs, maybe your need is quality time. Maybe your need is words of affirmation. If you need words of affirmation and the person that you're talking to wants you to feel like needing that is because you lack confidence and you lack a sense of self and you give to, that is a fundamental incompatibility. You need what you need. Number 6, talking about 10 signs of a safe partner. Number 6, they are willing to repair conflict. They are willing to repair conflict. If every time there is an issue, there is a threat of breaking up, there's a threat of walking away, there's a threat, they are unwilling to invest because they want to protect their peace, you got to do the analysis to assess cost value. And in order to build the kind of fulfilling relationship that will add a sense and degree of fulfillment to you, unlike any other relationship will, you will have to at first pay the price of some of your peace. Yes, you will. Because that person is bringing their own needs, their own desires, their own concerns, their own pretext, their own context. They're bringing their own stuff, and you have not had to consider any of that stuff before. So yes, a piece of your peace is going to be paid. A piece of your peace is going to be paid. And if you're not ready to pay that price, you ain't ready for a relationship. You are not getting a robot. You're getting a human who has their own idiosyncrasies, has their own history, has their own desires, has their own things that bring them fulfillment. And if you want them, then you also must be willing to fund them. And I'm not talking about material funding. You got to be willing to fund their needs. So there has to be a willingness to repair conflict. The sign that one of the signs in marriage and couples counseling that I look at when I'm assessing, especially a couple that is in crisis, one of the signs that predicts relational success or that predicts relational demise is how conflict gets handled. Couples that are more quick to actively and intentionally repair, and not only to repair, but also to accept repair attempts. You know, maybe you got something wrong. Maybe you messed something up and you did something wrong. You said something wrong. You were wrong. And they don't let you try to repair it. We're not talking about no major stuff either, right? Something minor. They want you to feel the guilt of it in perpetuity. They want you to keep on feeling bad about it. They won't let you make up for it. They won't let you show that they didn't intend it, that you didn't intend it. It's not safe. Because safe partners make repair attempts, they accept repair attempts, and they are more invested in us than they are in being right. They are more committed to being together than they are to being right. Number 7, integration of faith and values, what we call shared meaning. One of the pillars of love and one of the pillars of what binds any people together is meaning making and shared meaning systems. In safe relationships, safe partners begin to integrate their beliefs and their values into their daily choices to ensure that they are moving their life in the same direction, that there are shared values. I got my values, you got your values. Now the relationship begins to have its set of values, and that set of values becomes the lamp to my path. It tells me what decisions to make and not make. I can't do that because it would be a violation of the security that I'm endeavoring to build with this person. I can't have that conversation because it would breach the trust. Intention is not enough. There must be a mutual commitment to direction, and directionality again requires there to be that integration of values. Hey, we're sharing in the value. This is where we're trying to get to. So, what are the values necessary to make that a reality? Number 8, here's a big one. Number 8, here's a big one. They are safe with power. In a relationship, both people have some degree of power, different power. All right, women, you tend to have influence over a man. Men, if you are a leader and this woman is a follower of leadership, you've got directional influence with her. Never weaponize the power that's given to you. If y'all are married, if you're married, right? Women, you more often than not control the sexual intimacy. Don't weaponize what you got power over. Are they safe with power? Can they know your vulnerability and in a time of conflict, not weaponize it against you? Can they know your sensitivity and not use that against you? right? And not, okay, you've been through X, Y, and Z. I had one couple that I was counseling, and in this particular dynamic, the wife had significantly, repeatedly breached the trust in the relationship. And so the husband had asked for some particular boundaries to be set up around the relationship, who she engaged with. She's calling him controlling. She's calling him insecure. She's weaponizing a vulnerability. There is a difference between being insecure and unsecured. Everybody type insecure versus unsecured. Insecure is about your own internal sense of value or devalue. That's you. That's your stuff. But when I'm in any type of relationship, if you've ever, maybe you had no credit, you had bad credit, you're trying to rebuild your credit, two kind of lines of credit you can get, right? You got secured credit, you got unsecured credit. Secured credit is when you give a bank $1,000, they give you a line of credit against your own investment. An unsecured line of credit is there is nothing external that is guaranteeing the trust that they're extending to you. When a person is in a relationship and there is a violation of that trust, that violation of trust grants to the relationship and the individual a degree of unsecurity. That's not their insides. If you breach the trust and they no longer trust you, they don't have a trust issue. You broke the trust. The trust issue they have is you. You're the trust issue. And so she's saying to him, you're insecure. He's so insecure. He wants to control her, talk to. I said, ma'am, hold on, wait. Let's just look at your facts real quickly. Let's remove our emotions from it for a second. Let's just assess the data. Okay. Did you do this? Yes. Did you do this? Yes. Did you do this? Yes. You've done this many times? Yes. Okay. He's not insecure. Now, maybe your stuff has led to insecurity in him, but these requests for the boundaries is not about an insecurity. He is unsecured in your dynamic. You don't secure him. And when you are in a relationship, you have the responsibility to secure your partner. And one of the ways you secure them is by not weaponizing whatever vulnerabilities they have. All right, number 9. I am in Chicago. We got Connect Night tonight in Chicago. Y'all come. Number 9, growth oriented. Both people, we're talking about 10 signs that a person will be a safe partner. Both people have to have an individual commitment to evolving and developing. We're going to be on the south side at Lou Malnati's right by Midway Airport. I think it's 6456 South Cicero. Right across from the hotel we normally have our services at. Growth or I can't deal with somebody who's not committed to grow. I don't care what a woman does. Talking about me now. Talking about me. If a woman is a trash woman, She better be the best trash woman there is, on the trajectory to being the regional manager of all the trash women, of being the owner of the trash company, whatever it is. Are you committed to growth? Because if you're not, then the other person's commitment to growth, if they're not committed to growth, then your commitment to growth will offend them. It will intimidate them. And they will begin to do things, whether intentionally or unintentionally, conscious or unconscious, they will begin to do things to undermine your growth. You know what? Another one just hit me. So I'm going to give you all 11 tonight, because another one just hit me I want us to get. Number 10, they must value your purpose. Do they both respect you and what you commit your life to? Do they love your commitment to your commitments? Do they celebrate your God-given purpose? Because if they do, then that's an indication that they will make room for your dreams, even if they're not their dreams. Right, ladies, if you are a very driven person, if you are a person who has got your own goals and things you want to get done, and then you're talking with that man, he's constantly talking about, you just staying home and taking care of the kids. And there's nothing wrong with those who want to only be stay-at-home moms. That's fine. If that's what you feel your sense of purpose is, fine. But if that's not all for you, you better pay attention to it. Because in the things that you set out to do, the things you set out to pour yourself into, he will not value them. He won't budget for them. He won't make space for them. Sir, if she's always making little funny, shady comments about your commitment to your purpose, pay attention. Now, if you 50 years old and you still trying to have a rap career, we all need to be making shady comments at you. If you're 50 years old and your rap career has not taken off yet, cut it out. That's not God's lane for you. Listen to see. Are they always trying to diminish your drive? Or don't you think you're doing enough? Don't you ask me that. Number 11. Number 11. Now, and I really want y'all to put weight though on that number 10, that valuing your purpose. Because if you choose somebody who doesn't value your call or purpose, and I'm not just talking about your career path, I'm talking about your God ordained reason for being alive and in the earth. they will resent the demands of your purpose. For instance, I know for me, I could not provide a completely happy, healthy, safe relationship to a woman whose worldview is that in order for us to be happy, we have to live a totally private, secluded, cut off life. Because my life is poured out in service. God has wired me so that a sense of fulfillment comes for me in being able to serve others. So if it's a person who, if I'm talking when I'm initially gathering information, I'm listening to see this person's value around service and sacrifice. I live a life of faith. I live a life of sacrifice. Always have. Was raised like that. And that doesn't mean that doesn't have to be balanced. But if I hear in this woman's conversation that it's very important for her to have all of her man, her husband, to herself all the time. Yes, there's a part, your husband or your wife, there's a part of you that only your husband or wife should have. But not all of you, not when you are dealing with a person whose life is a tool in the hand of God towards his people. And so if you don't choose somebody who values your call, who values your purpose, they'll resent the demands of your purpose. Leadership means people are always looking to me. If that is offensive to a person, then my life is going to be offensive. When somebody doesn't value your purpose, they'll compete with it. Somebody doesn't value your purpose, they'll try to pull you into compromise. I live a life of consecration. I can't be everywhere. Right? If fun for her requires a cigar bar, if fun for her requires a hookah lounge, well, we ain't gonna work. I live consecrated. I don't want to be around hookah. I don't want to smell like that. Cigars, they smell horrible. What's wrong with you? Now, I don't know that I agree with the idea that two people, in order for them to have a successful relationship, need to share in purpose. See, purpose does not need to be identical. Purpose simply means needs to be complementary. And complementary does not mean it has to be same. Maybe I'm called to build and that person is called to destroy. Those things can be complementary because then once you tear something down, I can come in. Now we're going to both get paid. You're going to get paid to demolish. I'm going to get paid to build. Maybe, ma'am, you're called to public life and ministry. He's called to quiet intercession. It is possible for those differences to harmonize where there is a degree of intentionality. All right, number 11, and we're done. I got to get to Connect Night. Number 11, mutual investment. Mutual investment. Safe relationships are two-way streets. They're two-way streets. Each person is, goodness. Each person is mutually committed to not only building the relationship, but the other thing that has to be built, here's something that has to be built, is the willingness to be influenced by that person. See, if you come into a relationship and you're so focused, you are just so hyper vigilant about, I got to make sure I don't lose me. Number one, if you got to be constantly mindful of that, there's already a problem. But that can become a problem where then you become resistive to allowing that person to have influence with you. One of the indicators of relational demise is resistance to influence from your person. Mutual influence. Both people investing time, both people investing effort, both people investing vulnerability, both people initiating connection, both people carrying responsibility, both people sharing the load. Sir, you may be the initiator, but she needs to be a reciprocator. Got to. All right, saints, if you're in Chicago and you're looking for a church home, you need to come and be a part of Reformation Culture Church. It's hard for some men to listen when they are the leaders. One of the most dangerous types of leaders is a leader who can't hear. Can we get a live panel night on relationships and real talk? Absolutely, that's good. One of the most dangerous types of leaders, women. That's why it's important, women. That's why it's important. You need to, before you really start opening yourself up to that man, you need to see, who does he listen to? Or is his masculinity so fragile that in order to feel like a man, he needs to always be the one being listened to? Who is he submitted to? Who can check him? Who will he give you the permission to tell on him to? And he listens. Because if he won't listen to them, he sure ain't gonna listen to you. Who can bring him to his senses? Joanne Gabriel, good to see you. Any man that has nobody that he is submitted to, run from him, women. Whenever I have had spiritual daughters who have brought to me men that they were in a relationship with or considering a relationship with, I don't make relational decisions for nobody, but I'm going to sure give you some insight and understanding and advice. The first question I want to know from him, tell me about your relationship with your father. And who is your spiritual covering? They don't have one? You're not ready. Go find one and then come back. Talk to us in 12 months. See you in 12 months if she's still available. God bless. Be great. I got you. I got you. I'll bet him. Who? Nobody? Oh, because you're a man. All right. God bless you. You're dangerous. You're dangerous. All right, y'all. I got to go. If you are in Chicago, I want you to come to Connect Night tonight. It starts in 45 minutes. Connect Night is at 6 o'clock at Reformation Culture Church. Well, we're not going to be at the hotel. We're going to be at a restaurant, Lou Malnati's on South Cicero Avenue. If you are in Houston, join me tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for morning worship. If you are anywhere near Chicago, or if you can get to Chicago, this coming Friday, September the 26th, is Night of the Supernatural in Chicago at Reformation Culture Church. We have planted a location here. The hand of God is on this church. And God is doing something phenomenal, something supernatural. And so on September the 26th, next Saturday, drive, get on a train, get on a bus, get on a plane, walk. However you got to get there, Night of the Supernatural. We will be at 2750 West Columbus Avenue in Chicago. Get there early. Promise you, power of God's going to be there. People are coming from everywhere. If you're in Houston, don't forget Night of the Supernatural, the Deliverance Edition during Dominion Weekend. Apostle Alexander Pagani will be with us on October the 3rd and October the 4th. And then, of course, we have Night of Deliverance on October the 5th. The Lord bless y'all. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me in our pop-ups. Choose wisely. Maybe we will do a pop-up Q&A tonight after Connect Night for y'all to ask questions about relationships. Who wants to do that? Who wants to do that? And you saints that be getting in my comments being deep and wonderful for nothing, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. All right, maybe we'll do that tonight. Y'all keep your notifications on. Keep your notifications on. I'll see y'all soon. Goodbye.